and you don't know who they are, you don't know where they've been, you don't know what it took for them to get to and do what it is they're doing, and then you're doing a great disservice. And sometimes folk attack people that could become one of their biggest allies, but you need to figure out who they are. And like you know, same thing with you and Grand Sheik. You all don't 100% agree with each other on anything, but the one thing I like that both of you say, we agree on the things we agree on. We find commonality in the things that we do agree on, and that's where we ought to be, I believe, you know, as a people. Find our common ground and let's stand on that together instead of fighting each other from different sides of the road.
Right. Well, I knew I had to learn civics from a reliable source. In the different people that was teaching, I didn't find a better source of civics understanding than Taj. It don't matter what else he teach after that. I know civics from listening to Taj. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the purpose of knowing civics? You need to know what's being done, what you need to be doing to run government, how to read the law so you'll know the imposters is using legalese to trap our people. We didn't know all this stuff 100 years ago this concisely. When Noble Ali said get a good Moorish education, he didn't only mean civics. He meant historically, linguistically, learn the etymology of the words that they're using, and it's going to paint a different picture, right? So if he said he going to leave these people in power till we learn how to run the government, somebody has to sit and learn government from A to Z. One of my frustrations, and this don't have nothing to do with, it's not a negative knock on Taj, is that he's forced by the questions he's asked to keep saying the same thing redundantly. The irony in that is, by him saying it redundantly, I don't have to be there at the beginning. I can come in where he at and see him saying the same things over and over and say, okay, well, they're not asking the follow-up to get him out of this loop, right? So in our reading the Emerald Tablets, Thoth say everything is cycles within cycles. Learn how to interrupt the cycles. That means learn how to break that pattern of redundancy. The only way I can do that is I have to ask Taj questions that none of the prior persons that was doing their investigations in the civics have been asking him. The only question I needed to ask him is, did he know when the contract ended? Because if he don't know when the contract ended, he don't know when to stop teaching physics, so he can't never retire. He can't never go off into the sunset with his wife and have babies and all that stuff because he got to keep teaching this stuff redundantly. I want him to have the opportunity, if he chooses to take a 40-day vacation because he felt like it. Because I understand civics enough to know that as pretender to the throne, having the birthright and the blood right, there's a process. By application of this process, I enact universal law. In enacting universal law, it secures the position of all similarly situated people around the world because this is universal law that's enforced from the level of the Galactic Council. It trickles down into the 3D as an overthrow of the current system that's belligerent to the organic people on the land who has an obligation to Big Mama, Mother Nature, to clean the land up at the close of the age, to restore the waters and the airwaves back to its pristine purity. And that's not going to take no week. That's not a 2-week cleanup job. We're talking about a job that can take us a couple hundred years, but we have to start on it. But we can't start on it until one of us learns civics well enough so that we can execute the galactic law overriding the corporate jurisdictions of contract law. Right. And from the position of galactic law, when you discover an injustice, you report it to the people to determine if... Or camouflage. And the best camouflage to infiltrate the people is to raise one up that look like them, that ain't them. Right? So when you read about in the history books that these Moors was marrying these slaves and having children by them, and they was teaching them to take allegiance to them. And that's why they forbade the mother line and only honor the father line. Because when you father the child by somebody,
if you erased a mother line, there's no matriarchal connection. Therefore, they will never identify themselves as a matriarchal people. That's exactly why they created the races. A race has a beginning and an end, right? A race has a beginning and an end. Well, let me tell you, this is the end of all of the races. Because you're either human or you something else. And everything that look human, not human. Right? Everything that looks kinfolk ain't kinfolk. And everything that don't look kinfolk ain't always your enemy either. But it's some motherfuckers with the pink skin, just like it's some motherfuckers with the dark skin, can all get the same guillotine the same. Because they are classified collectively as the devil, the enemy. But the ones who are in the position of right, these what you call blood rights, blood ties to the land. What do they mean by blood ties to the land? That means that you organic to where you grew from. Your spirit was going to come back in whatever fucking body was on this bitch suitable to facilitate your vibration so you can fix it. So the war came to us in 1492. So you see the banner that say 500 years of native resistance, 500 years of indigenous warfare, right? Now, this could have been over many times, but people like me was always killed on the ground so they could never exercise the birthright, right? That's why our children in our communities die at an earlier age. Right? All of these things also does something as a side effect. See, we don't ever look at the side effect. We always look at the direct effect. Sometimes the side effect tells you the importance of the direct effect, of it allowing it to take place. The side effect of oppression is teenage pregnancy. Girls becoming pubescent at earlier and earlier ages. If girls come into puberty earlier, they have a more likelihood of producing children earlier. If they produce children earlier, that means that it's going to engage more of the elder women because it got to be a condition where the men is minimized. These elder women in turn begin to teach the children how to resist based on the premises of the government they under. It don't matter what system they create. The law of nature will always adapt to that system to make it conform to the laws of nature when the right person is raised. Right? So now we are remolding this reality back to the laws of nature to override the laws of man. And these laws was the laws that governed the game and kept us in the subservient position. Right? So it's a set number of personalities any culture can produce because the law of nature has a wired in hierarchy or caste system, right? This is how the idea of royalty ever came into place. Alpha lines is what they call. The alpha line is the line that consistently produce the best candidate to resolve whatever it is. Every time, consistently. No matter what the problem is, this bloodline is going to adapt to find the solution by producing an offspring wired with the solution in him. Right. It's like just saying white in other countries means status or class in society. That is correct. And one of the ways when we've discovered how it was being used was there's an Egyptian guy who came over here and they told him that he was white, right? And he didn't understand how he was being separated from us by him being called white and us being called black, which created a big uproar in the Middle East coming out of Egypt. But that's a whole nother story. The DNA test, if it's not a parental test, it's for entertainment purposes only. When you look in the fine print, it say this is for entertainment purposes only. I've seen a couple of them that said that. What that means is this: whatever narrative is required to steer the entertainment in the direction that the producer wants it to go, basically tell the story, he can control it. So they are notoriously not possible, first of all, to take your blood over here and say you related to somebody 1,000 miles away without having a sample of their blood as a control. And the way they doing it is they just telling people, send us your blood and we'll tell you your DNA, right? You might have found family with it, but that's an exception to the rule because they tell you it's for entertainment purposes, right? So what they will do is they will allow you to find some family because they got a testimonial to the validity of their bullshit. No contracts. All contracts are slave contracts. They all got some shit in there. The fact that you making the contract automatically puts you in the creditor-debtor scenario. Baby Hoove. I think I gave them a pretty good understanding of this game called life and how it's being played. So, what's going on, God buddy?
What's up, man?
You got it, you got it. Where you calling from?
New Orleans.
From the NO. That's what's up. What brings you in today? What's your name?
There. My name is Rip.
Did you say Rip?
Rip.
R-I-F?
R.I.P.
Okay. Hey, look, that's what we used to call my nephew. So what you want to talk about today?
Whatever, bro. It's all on you, man. I'm trying to hear your knowledge.
You got any questions? You got anything you want to know about specifically?
Rules of universe, karma.
I've been already talking about that. That's what most of the video about.
Karma.
Yeah, all that's part of the game.
Preach on it to me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take somebody else if they got some questions. You keep watching, and maybe we touch on some more, get some more detail about that with some of these other questions.
Thanks.
All right, fam.
All right. Hold up.
Them 777s up in here. One with 3 7s in my head. What's going on, God?
Peace, God. How you doing? Appreciate
Good. Loving them dreads, boy.
I mean, appreciate it. Now, hey, I cut it before because it was a spell casted on me. Back when my lower self, I didn't really know who I was. But, yo, about this game. So you said, the Europe black nobility conquistadors, like, when you, like, so how did they even like start? And like, can you just elaborate a little bit more on that? And I just want to know about the voodoo
Wait.
game.
Slow down. You say, how did they start? Start what?
Like, with the infiltrate, like, how did they infiltrate us? Like,
Okay,
I know
so,
they like us and shit. Like, go ahead.
okay, so when we go back to what our ancestors were saying, they was making agreements with us. They was marrying into our clans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the whole time, they had the intent to sell us out.
All right.
Right? That was their goal from the beginning. Now, they didn't only use one technique. They used the outright military attack. Right? So you have to understand what Cortez was doing when he was slaughtering motherfuckers looking for Cordoba.
Cordoba, and that was one of our leaders.
Cordoba was the city of gold.
City, okay, Cordoba was the city of gold.
Okay,
and
now.
Cordoba was in like on this land right here that we in right now.
It was the city it was the Atlantean city that flew away.
Okay.
They call it the Crystal City in the Bible.
Okay, Crystal City. Crystal City. And then one more joint, like you said, it's a voodoo game. And if you're not, you need to be tapped into that. So can you like, because I don't really know how to, but the researching thing, it's hard to really research stuff because I don't really know what is real and what's not.
Listen.
Go ahead.
The voodoo game that they was playing, Conjure War, is high magic. Because I know high magic, I can see it when it's being done.
Okay.
I know that they told us that voodoo was evil, wicked, and we should stay away from it.
Right.
But I also know that we was doing voodoo thousands of years before they brought a Bible.
Facts.
Now, I also know that when they brought their Bible was when they decided that voodoo was something they didn't want us to know. When I studied voodoo, I found that voodoo is the application of the laws of nature to manifest your best life.
Okay.
Right?
And voodoo,
that's the purpose of it.
Uh-huh.
Now, people became selfish and started using something called low magic. Low magic is using base elemental magic to control other people. Right?
Right.
So they was taking low magic and they was using low magic on a mass scale.
That's basically like code lockdown. Low magic.
Yep. Okay, now, while the people are being victimized by the low magic, they doing something to keep the higher ranking of the people in a narcotic state. It's called bloodletting rituals.
Bloodletting rituals.
Right. Because angels in human form don't like the smell of blood, and the adrenaline from adrenochrome makes them senselessly angry.
Okay.
And they'll just start tearing up shit.
All right. But
the bloodletting ritual keeps them narcotized. Kingu, that's exactly the spell called Kingu. The Nuwabians identified the name of it.
Okay.
Okay, so once you start using voodoo, the spell can't work on you. Because you're finding balance with yourself as the first frame of reference. And as soon as one of us balance out to the laws of nature perfect, she using us. Ain't no question about it.
Right.
I've been waiting on one of y'all.
Right.
Right? So now you start coming out of the spell in reverse. You can smell the blood in the atmosphere of the children, the slaughterhouses, the mass bloodletting rituals. Right? You can smell it in the atmosphere. It's repugnant. It's like smelling it's not like a repellent like a skunk. It's like smelling real strong urine.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
In a real hot place with very low ventilation.
Yeah, so that's shit.
And it give you a migraine headache. And it make your muscles start to stiffen. It's bad. But you got to go through it to wake up. You can't wake up without smelling that blood in the morning, 3 a.m. while they doing it. Well, they not doing them now, but they was doing them rituals. Because Big Mama needs you to know what you fighting against.
Right.
So she got to wake you through the trauma that the world is going through.
All right. That makes total sense. So like you
Now,
got, all right, go ahead.
once you come through the trauma, your anger is kindled. If you're not balanced, you can't control it. If you're not balanced, you can't control it. You are in 100-mile-an-hour rage with no direction. You just gonna tear some shit up. And
Even
this
your
is
own.
why you won't know you won't know who to attack.
I am.
Right? Because
Right.
all the intellectual teaching is that our enemy don't look like us.
Right. Right.
But the spiritual knowledge says they look like us and some of them don't. Right? So the spiritual knowledge overrides what these people saying. Those who want you to continue vibrating at a low frequency are going to keep pushing the race issue. Tell them the race is over. Tell them the race is over and the gorilla won.
Right.
Right? So, so this smell, it does some fucked up shit to you. But once you get